on my computer at some point, but if not, I guess.
Well, at least these things are generally kind of quick.
Oh, before we start, I got the transfers from Amazon, and if you want one of them, I will send them to you because I'm sending a few of you some of my ghost pets.
Ooh.
So
Yeah.
it might be after Halloween. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine. Because I was totally going to make a hoodie with it and just like wear it all year.
Okay.
Transfers for what?
I got transfers for one of the doors for the Create-a-thon. And wait, this isn't it, but it's something like this. And I got a white hoodie, like a lightweight hoodie, and I want to do like blood splatter to it with this.
That'd be cool.
And I'm like, if it comes out, but I have a whole bunch, so if you guys are on later, I can send you pictures, and then you guys can let me know out of the ones I'm not using if you want some.
Yeah.
They're super cute. I was like, oh, no, I want to make a hoodie. I kind of want to do a black one and do like
the bleach.
And but I don't know how well those transfers will show up on the black.
Depends on if you bleach it first and then have the transfers go in.
Yeah, I guess I could do like a bleach spot. I wanted to do like splatters all over the whole thing, but yeah, I could do like on the back one, like big bleached part.
All
right.
Or you could get a purple sweater and then bleach the purple sweater.
That's true.
It doesn't have to be black with bleach, but this thought.
Well, shall we discuss
our
book that I can't remember anything about?
Oh no!
Do you want to do the synopsis real quick?
Sure. Why is it so long?
So, well, you don't have to read it. Just give a general.
Scientist.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember it. I mean, we follow a serial killer and a medical examiner. They've been, this is book 2 of the series, so this will spoil book 1, I suppose.
Everything in this is going to spoil book 1.
Especially as we spoil it at the end. Which you all knew before I did, and I was not ready.
But basically, she escaped him in book 1, and now in book 2, it's mostly the first like 30% is her like dealing with her trauma from that and like trying to get her life back on track. And then of course he comes back out to play. as one does.
Yep.
However, he moves areas.
Yes.
So that's part of the spoiler part or whatever, but I enjoyed that part of it.
So what did everybody rate it?
I gave it 4, but I gave it 4 because of the author interview at the end.
When I read, I don't very often read authors' interviews or notes at the ends of books, but like with this author and with Stephen Graham Jones, their author's notes like make the books for me. But I gave this one a 3 because I gave the first one 4 and I liked this one less.
Mine swapped.
I gave this one a 4, and the first one I gave a 5.
Wow, you gave the first one a 5?
I really liked it.
It is quite clinical and it's like descriptions of dead bodies, but I mean, the author is a medical examiner in real life, so like it makes sense.
See, and in the first one, I feel like they gave more description of that sort of thing, and you were able to see more of like the stuff, one happening, but like the repercussions and her looking into it. Whereas
Mhm.
opposed to this one is mostly about like her journey.
Yeah, because she's
Which-
not really working in this one. Like she's
Yeah.
too traumatized from what happened in book
Yeah.
one that
Yeah.
she's taken time off of work.
Which is why it went down for me.
Hmm.
See, I like the fact that you got to have him out of his element.
Mm.
Because in
Out
the
of his
first
comfort
one,
zone.
he's just this cocky son of a gun. Like I don't like him. And he's like, I'm too cool for this. And
Mm-hmm.
and like there's certain things that he does and he's like, I'm the first person that ever thought of this. And I'm like, I really don't like you. But he had to adapt and
Mm-hmm.
still do the things that he did in the first one in this one. So I liked watching the adaptation and him also pulling certain characters into making his death scenes work.
Yeah, this one felt more like fly by the seat of your pants for
Mm.
him. Like
Yes.
things were just happening and he was reacting instead of like running the show in this one.
Right.
Yeah.
Staging it and having it part of the game kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I think my biggest hang up with this one was like the first over 30%. They had no interaction at all. Like
Mm.
I don't know. It's just boring to me.
it took so long for it to like get to the point where like anything suspenseful was happening. I was like, come on, can we like unalive someone already?
Mm-hmm.
I came here for a serial killer and I have been reading for hours and not one person has been serial killed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. I agree with that.
I don't know. I liked him on the run. And like the trucker, and then trying to find a place for the trucker, and then coming across what he comes across. And I'm hoping, because it sounds like it's going to be a series, and I'm thinking that there's going to be a spin-off with another character in the book. I just don't know if she's waiting to get bigger or more fan base before she's allowed to do that with her publishing company.
Yeah, I don't. From what I guess I didn't look at her like social media, like Instagram or anything, but from what I could see, I don't see it slated for another book, but it very much ended on like I don't necessarily want to say a cliffhanger, but a very open ending.
Yeah.
And the other thing for me that I don't like about her writing style is that it kind of reminds me of Hannibal, the TV show. And like certain chapters, I feel have been in an episode. And I'm like, okay, so is this something that she's seen that happened in an episode that they pulled from like real life cases? And I would have liked that put into it somehow. You know what I mean?
I bet that it is in a way because she does have a podcast about true crime.
Okay.
So I would imagine so. Just knowing that, you know?
Gotcha. Is there anybody watching?
Mhm.
Cool. Hi, people.
Nobody's chatting, huh?
Nobody's chatting. I was looking to see if anybody else read it.
Well, do we want to?
Think because it's a book too, probably was less likely to get people to read it if they hadn't already read
Yeah.
book one.
Mm-hmm. Do we want to do the spoilery part so people who are watching can know everything that happened? Because we will spoil everything for everybody.
Yeah.
So, book one starts out basically, this lady is hunting down the stereo. Well, okay, go ahead and leave anybody who wants to leave real quick.
By the way,
Before I get started. Okay, so book one is a lady is hunting down a serial killer. They end up having to go all over New Orleans because that's where they live, trying to find like his dead bodies and everything. And while she's doing this, you are seeing him with his victims in his basement and like what he's doing and the whole like his whole plans and him at work and all this stuff. And so she has had experience with him in the past. You find out eventually in the book because he had kidnapped her and she's like the one person that got away. And he had because he had tried to basically paralyze her by stabbing her in the spine, but he missed. And so she was able to get away. And so she's now trying to hunt him down because she, you know, had known him. She had gone to college with him. She'd actually gone over to his house to help study for college or whatever. And so that's book one. And like at the end, you basically find out that like he found out who she was, even though she changed her name. He went into her house, like stole her ring. She ended up having to go to his house, like out in the bayou, and basically confirm who it was. And at the very end, they end up shooting him. But then when they walk up to the body, she's like, that's not him. So that's the end of book one, is that we find out that she was one of his victims, the one that got away. And that when all of the cops and stuff are hunting him, he ends up getting away again. So, hi. We're just in the spoilery part where I'm telling you all about the book.
Which is probably good for you because I'm sure you're not going to read the book.
Yeah. So book two picks up where she's having a whole bunch of like PTSD issues and like is trying to like get over the fact that like he escaped and he's out there and she doesn't know where he's at. Meanwhile, he is traveling up north to the Boston area. And he starts killing people in the Boston area because he used to go up there, I think, for the summers, right? And he ends up
He went with Phil to their camp.
In the summers, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so he goes up there, he ends up finding Phil, who he had accidentally killed somebody with him, and then he basically like framed the body and buried it so that way if he needed to, he could coerce essentially Phil to do whatever he wanted to. So he goes to Phil's house. It's like, hey, you got to do all this stuff for me, or I'm going to tell everybody about the person that you killed, blah, 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 blah. So Phil's basically doing like all these phone calls saying, oh, there's a body here. You should go here, like sort of things. And is basically like an unwilling accomplice. Meanwhile, Wren is going. I haven't gotten to this. I haven't gotten to the twist. Meanwhile, Wren is trying to find like all the different like bodies and things and see like which ones are his, which ones are copycats and things. He ends up putting like her flower, some magnolias from her wedding, like all over the town. So she ends up getting like super freaked out and
so bad. Those streets had to have stunk so bad. Go on. When I was listening to it, I'm like, what?
Oh, but they're like, oh, they smell so good. And I'm like, but magnolias when they start, anyway, whatever. So she is hunting him down and everything. And then, oh no, I got distracted.
Magnolias.
Yeah.
He's playing games with her head.
Yeah, and he's like hiding like the bodies and things, and having Phil tell people all about it. And then so there ends up being one body she ends up going and finding. It has a piece of paper in its mouth. She pulls a piece of paper out and it has her husband's name on it. And she's like, oh my gosh, my husband. And she tries calling him, and surprise, surprise, he has gone and killed her husband with Phil as the accomplice. With Phil as the accomplice. There's been
there's been a murder sign.
I don't know where it's at. I lost it.
After the eyeball.
Maybe it was the eyeball.
I thought like she was looking at it and something was like translucent through the eye.
Maybe that was it. It was either in his mouth or in his eyeball. Okay,
Yeah.
somewhere in his head
It was
cavities.
a
And so, we come to find out, Phil, who is like a really respected like pastor and things, had told the police where the butcher guy, Jeremy, whatever, he has like a bunch of different names, is, and they're able to like hunt him down, and he's like because he was like in a crawl space or whatever, and so they were able to put him under arrest and everything. And come to find out, Kristen, do you want to tell the twist?
No, keep going. Keep going.
Come to find out, his friend that he framed had gone back, dug up the body, moved it, gotten rid of all the evidence, and was serial murdering himself. And he was framing him the whole time.
Blah, blah, blah.
He thought he was so freaking smart, yo.
He did, and yet his friend got him. And so he's in jail. His friend is out and about, and I'm pretty sure that like the cops know he's a serial killer, but they don't really do anything about it. And yeah. And so the way that the way that it ends is that his friend is like, I'm a serial killer. You thought you could get one over on me, but I got one over on you. And now I'm, the greatest serial killer that ever lived.
Meanwhile, it's leaving off at a cliffhanger where the only person that is on the list to go speak to Jeremy is Wren.
Yep.
And it leaves
There's
off
that too.
He's going to go face to face because of Richard and everything. But
yeah.
Because I don't think they go face to face throughout the whole book, right?
No. And because she finds out that Richard was killed by two people. That's her husband. I didn't say his name. But and so she wants to know who the other murderer was.
So his sidekick double crossed him.
Something against him for what, 20 years? Almost?
Yeah. Something like that.
Well,
I mean, to be fair, when Jeremy showed up, Phil was like, "No, I'm not going to help you."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
Like he didn't want to team up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it makes you wonder what's on the side with Phil that Jeremy interrupted.
Mm-hmm.
I found Phil very interesting because the true crime with the pastors and those kind of thing and the Kool-Aid, and I'm like, nobody thought of it like that.
Well, and it kind of makes you wonder if he had if he was the one where she was trying to figure out which one was copycats and which one wasn't, I'm going to try to go on my phone or my computer real quick.
Okay.
Jennyception.
Okay. That was funny.
You were two at once.
Yeah. But so yeah, that's the whole story of both of those books. It was a wild twist. I kind of saw it coming. To be honest, the friend.
Well, like his mask kind of dropped when Wren and oh my God, is it John, the detective?
Yeah. Right, LaRue.
Yeah. I kept calling him Clouseau, and then I'm like, no, that's Pink Panther. Anyway,
not the Pink Panther.
But they interview Phil, and like the mask drops a little bit, and he like almost it feels like he's getting ready to call it kind of thing. and it's about the dumbest thing. It's about a receipt or something. And I'm like, he's got a pass. He did something.
Mhm. Well, I mean, we already knew he was wrapped up in the crap with the butcher.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, obviously, if you're willing to stay a silent partner in that, then you're obviously not a good person anyway. But I did like the scene where he was chasing that chick around with a paintball gun in the woods.
I'm going to shoot you with the real gun if I hit you with the paintball gun.
Although that girl didn't put up much of a fight. She just kind of gave up, which was a little disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he felt that too.
Yeah, he was like, no, this is over too quick. Keep going.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that, like, she was super suspicious of him anyway, and it's like, I have pepper spray, and, you know, and he's like, no, you don't. Ha, ha, ha. But, like, if you're that suspicious of somebody, why are you going to go hang out with them at an abandoned fairground or whatever? Like,
well, even
if you're...
Go ahead, sorry. Well,
No,
trying to from my thought is.
No,
I was going to bring on in the bartender.
Yeah, the bartender. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, you knew this guy was sus and you did nothing. You just let her leave with him.
And they even say that later on, that, like, the bartender thought he was suspicious, and that's why they, like, he quizzed him or whatever.
But at the same time, it's a crowded bar. You're telling me to yell this conversation? You know what I mean? I don't know.
And the fact that she was like, you're so creepy because you were overhearing my conversation with my friends. Let me go follow you into an abandoned, you know, like, it just doesn't even make sense. Just doesn't even make sense.
She deserved to get hunted in the woods.
She thought it was going to be like her books at home, and it's not.
She thought that was going to be a different ending to the hunt.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was just the... If you're that suspicious of somebody, I don't know, man.
I think she did a better job describing the Berkshires than she did New Orleans. For me, because I'm from that, well, like, up New York area, so I knew where she was, and I could better where for New Orleans stuff, it looked like she watched a documentary or something, but she'd never been there and she'd never experienced that area. So you didn't feel like you were on the street looking at stuff. You never knew where you were in a scene to see what they were seeing. But this one, I think she did a better job.
Yeah. Chris wants to know what we all rated it, and if, Kristen, if you liked it better than book one.
Yes. I gave it one more star. Book one.
I gave it one less star.
I also gave it one less star than book one. Only because the first, like, 38% of the book, I was so bored. Like, I feel like that 38% could have been wrapped up in a couple chapters.
I agree.
I do too. And I was waiting for, you know how most thriller they talk about how they have a stash buried in the woods somewhere and it has passport crap in it. I was waiting to find out if that's where he was going when he was burying the trucker. And then he found other dudes, you know, place. And I'm like, okay, so what are you doing? Like, you kind of knew where you were, but how are you going state to state?
Yeah. You want to know what made me the most... I don't know the word. Like, I didn't understand why they did it. And they did it in book one, too. Is the fact that she, like, loves LaRue's boyfriend or husband or whatever. And so, like, she calls him to calm down. instead of one, her own husband, and two, like for like 5 seconds while he's working. Like it doesn't even make sense because it's never mentioned before or after in both books
that they were that close. Yeah.
Like it's like they mentioned in the first one a little bit that they're close, you know, like that LaRue and her are close,
Right.
but not that like
go double date somewhere at a new restaurant or something like that.
Yeah, but not that like LaRue's significant other was like her rock, which I don't even know, man. I don't even know.
And then the other thing is like I didn't know she was in therapy for PTSD because that wasn't explained in the first. You just think like she's overcome it and that's why she became a mortician, not a mortician, but you know,
medical examiner. Wasn't it because of her parents? Weren't her parents unalived?
I don't remember.
Or was it her sibling? I can't remember.
I don't know, but she was in school for it when she met the
her.
butcher. And he wasn't actually in school. He was just going to classes for funsies.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's like busy stalking people.
And that's when he met her. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. And then you find out that they were more romantic.
Yeah. And then you find out that they were dating.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird addition. I was like, did I miss that in book one?
And I'm like, okay, did she like black out parts of it and dissociate? And that's how she's pulling it in. And then they brought this and, you know, things that she had to do to come back into herself. But I'm like, I didn't have issues. And she's out in the world, you know, looking at unalived people, trying to figure out how they got unalived. That's not healthy.
Yeah, I don't know. There were a few things now that we're talking about it that I was just kind of confused by. That didn't make sense as to why they were in there.
Yeah, I'm glad that the whole dating thing, I didn't totally miss that. Because I was like, did I just miss that in book one? Like, was that talked about? And
it was talking about how he wanted her to help him study. And she was like, yeah, let's study.
Mm-hmm. But then she's having a conversation with Richard and it sounds deeper than it was. And Richard, he was like, okay, you know, can we use it to help you get through this? And if not, you know, let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he didn't throw a tantrum or you have a thing for serial killers. I knew it. You know,
I was kind of hoping that Richard would be a serial killer.
I love the fact that he fought back.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Two of them were at him, and he did a good job fighting back.
I really wanted him.
He worked with. Was he also a detective? Right?
I don't think so.
He was. I don't think he was on that case, but because like he tagged along to a lot of stuff that like I'm like he wouldn't be coming to that.
He took time off of work to go up to Maryland with her
colleague. The colleague called. I didn't know if it was that or the real thing, so they decided to drive up. Did they drive fly up?
They flew. Remember, because she was able to sleep.
Oh, no, I didn't remember.
But I felt like there was a lot of times where like she would like go to the police station or whatever to talk to LaRue and like her husband would just tag along. And I'm like, if this is an active investigation, he wouldn't just be tagging along unless he was also an officer or something like, or a detective or.
And there was something in the first book where they had hours, but he set up her clock. I cannot remember what he did. Because it was insignificant. I was trying to get back to the game because they jumped around so much in the first book. From the game to the backstory. So I might have just over it so I could go back to the actual.
Right? Yeah, I can't remember what he did, but
I think he was a teacher.
just seemed weird. Oh, you might be right. Was he a professor? Like a college professor?
Maybe. I can't even remember.
No. I
Yeah.
don't.
Ugh.
I'm confusing this, and I just read Sleep Tight, which is another like psychological like serial killer book, and now I'm confusing the two.
Aw. I just watched Trap yesterday, so there were a lot of similarities. Yeah. Will you read the next one?
I would read the next one.
Mm-hmm. And so the way I rate things, a 3-star is not a bad rating for me.
Mhm.
It's just an average book. It's
Yeah.
fine. It didn't do anything special, but I'm not like upset that I read it.
Right.
So like I gave it a 3-star, and that may sound low to some people, but for me it's fine. It is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, like for me, got 4 stars was the fact that I really liked the interview afterwards at the author explaining certain things. And that because you could tell that her writing style had changed from book 1 to book 2.
Mhm.
About that, and I'm like, okay, so I'm not crazy. You did change how you put the story out.
Yeah.
So this is making my eye. Stop it.
There's like no reviews that say what he was.
Oh, you're reading the sequels?
Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. I just thought it was weird that he like tagged along to everything.
It matters to me.
I don't know what he did. We liked him.
Oh, and then
we'll be in book 3.
And then they kept calling him Rose, and she was like, "I hate that they keep calling him Rose. This sounds too pretty." Because that was Jeremy's last name.
But she wants to have stinky flowers at her wedding.
Mhm.
But Rose, that's too pretty. But you can have disgusting flowers.
They're really pretty. They just don't
Or
smell
they're
very good.
horrible.
I was actually thinking about getting a magnolia tree because where I live, it would grow really well.
The pollen is,
Is it?
yeah. But if you had a fern away from your house, you'll have a pretty tree on your property.
Maybe I could go plant it across the street in somebody else's yard. Or the ditch across the street, or go plant it in a cemetery.
There you go. So it's not like too close to the house. Just don't accidentally dig up a body.
I'll plant it outside the cemetery.
I will say I'm very excited for next month's book.
Is it Mayfly?
Mayfly, yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I'm excited for that one too.
Yep.
I'm hoping we have more to talk about, because this one, I'm not gonna lie, there's not much to talk about. We've been live for 34 minutes. I feel like there's nothing else to talk about. It's not much to it.
But like, how do we go from working at the happiest place on earth as an ice princess to becoming a serial killer?
That's
Like,
I don't know anything about it. I just like the cover. They're like, oh, we're gonna. I was like, okay, edible.
yeah, it says by day, Mayfly worked at the happiest place in the world as everyone's favorite ice princess. By the neon glow of the Sunset Strip, Maeve haunts the dive bars with a drink in one hand and a book in the other. When Gideon Green, her best friend's brother, moves to town, he awakens something dangerous within her in her world suddenly shifts beneath her feet. Untethered, Maeve ditches her discontented act and tries a new persona, a bolder, bloodier one, inspired by the pages of American Psycho.
Oh my gosh.
I'm excited for that one.
I might have to buy the book so that I can annotate it.
Yeah, I might annotate this one.
I'm gonna take a month. I'm probably not gonna send people the book for the traveling book because she got all 3 of my books in one go and I overwhelmed her.
Oops.
So, but I had already read Bride. So I was like,
To be
Yeah,
fair,
I've already read Bride too.
to be fair, there are 2 people that have 3 books currently. So
I have one book that Carissa just sent me last month, so I need to read it still.
I still
This month, early this month.
because Tammy, I think, sent Aaron 3 books just now. So,
But like when I get Bride, I'll flip through and leave a couple notes, but I already read it. I'm not going to reread it.
send it to me. I haven't read it. Wait, did you annotate it, Kristen, at all?
Yeah, a little bit. And then I got towards like the beginning of October and I wanted to finish Surviving Trace. And then because it showed me Brand and I found it there and I'm like, okay, I can immersion read it a lot better than actually reading it.
Mm-hmm.
Finished up Bride, sent it, and then I immersion read Surviving Trace.
I have none. Yeah.
I also have none.
I don't know. I really want to read book 1 before I read the one that Carissa just sent me because it's book 2. And I know that they're all interconnected standalones. So like I can read book 2 and it's whatever, but in my mind I can't do it.
So since it's the War.
Yeah, it's the Elsie Silver one. So Heartless is book 2, but I haven't read Flawless, which is book 1.
Oh, Heartless is the one with the cowboy ranch.
Yep.
You don't need to read it.
I know, but in my mind I have to. My mind says I have to.
Well, you better hop on it.
Add it to the list.
It's on my list they're both on my list this month. I think the audiobooks are relatively short, like considering how like I listen on like 2 to 2.5 times speed. I think they'll each take me like 4 or 5 hours, somewhere in there.
Yeah, because the book is pretty thick.
Graves. That was a thick book too, but that audiobook only took me like 4 hours.
That's because it had not that many words on each page.
Yeah. I think Heartless is the same. Did you read Heartless, Carissa, or did you just send it along? I didn't even flip through it yet.
I wonder if Barnes and Noble have it and I can get Makeline today.
I'm sure it will. It's like a really popular one right now.
Instant
I
grab.
think that's where I picked mine up, actually. It was Barnes & Noble like a week or 2 ago.
All right.
I just sent it because I had it for so long and no time to read. Yeah.
Google. Oh no, I don't have the rude. And are you guys gonna do sprints this week?
Do what? You cut out.
Oh, are we doing any sprints this
Sprints this week?
night?
What day is it? Movie night will be either Wednesday or Thursday, whatever works best for everybody. And I mean, I could do sprints. We could even just do Discord sprints too.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I want to see if I can finish off a couple before the end of the month. And I didn't know if you Join me.
You guys want to know what book is great? It's Fantastic Land.
What is fantastic?
Ooh. That's the one with the Ferris wheel on the cover, right?
Mm-hmm. This one?
Yeah, that's been on my to be read list for forever, and it's just another one that, there's
Listen
never
to
enough
it.
time.
Listen to it. Seriously. Put it, I think it's on
It's on Everand, I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember, but like stick it in your ears and listen to it. Put it above everything else.
But I can't, because I have to finish Puck and Prejudice.
Okay, fine. Finish Puck and Prejudice, and then you will love it. It's so good. I'm so sad that I waited so long to read it. I kind of want to listen to it again, to be completely honest. It was so good. Did
you just read it?
Mm-hmm. Yesterday.
I also need to finish Greenlight. I've been trying to slowly make progress on it every day, just so
I have been working on A Safe Place to Die because there are no audiobooks for that. I really like it. There was a couple days there where I stopped reading it. So at the very beginning, so it's not really a spoiler because it's like less than 10% in, but she basically gets drugged. And because of that, I just kind of wanted to not read anymore. But
wait, there's not an audiobook? I swear I saw it on Audible.
For A Safe Place to Die?
Yeah, there's an audiobook.
Is
It's
there?
on Audible.
No.
I mean, you'd have to use a credit on it, but yeah.
No.
It says available instantly.
Ooh. I can get it for tomorrow.
Well, I'm already like halfway through it, so now I don't want to waste the credit on it because I already am halfway done.
Well, yeah, no, I wouldn't if you've already. But we'll be doing reading sprints for Mayfly on the 17th of November, and then the live show on the 24th. If anyone wants to join us for Mayfly, I've heard nothing but great things. I don't think I've heard anyone give this a bad review. It's Reddit. It's obviously going to be gross and gory.
Join us. Yeah, look at that picture on that cover.
Yeah, just a weird mouth thing, giant eyeball. I don't know what's happening. But.
Oh. Awesome.
Creepy.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, any more business?
Nope.
I'm working on these mini mystery diamond paintings.
Cute.
Oh,
well, you can tell who this is. You can tell who this is, but it's now, but see all the symbols are white, so you can't actually tell what they are until you work on them.
Oh, that's fun.
But this one, I'm a decent way in, so you can tell it's Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah. Maybe I'll go finish my diamond painting.
So I'm doing that, and then I'm watching The Colony, which anybody who hasn't watched that is great, but first watch Ghosts. Steph.
I don't watch anything, let's be real. My tiny bit of TV or movie watching is our movie night once a week, and then I don't watch anything else.
I do. I love Ghosts. Apparently they put out 2 new seasons of the UK one, so I'm watching through that. But I love The Colony, so I'm watching that. And then I am on season 12 of Sister Wives through my rewatch of that, and there's 19 seasons, so
That's a lot. I didn't realize there were so many.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping to go to the pumpkin patch. I'm not sure. There's a couple things going on. That's why I was like, I do not want to look like the Trunchable today. I look a little bit like I want to go out or something. And then I want to watch Maxine.
I've heard that's good. You do look nice. I thought your glasses, though, were cat ears for a second when you first got on.
I look like
Well, I thought they were like when they were just up there at first. I was like, is she wearing cat ears?
I don't like my hair. Like, I love curling my hair, but I don't like it when it falls on my face. I get really, really hot.
Mm-hmm.
What? In a minute.
Yeah, I only have my hair down like when I film videos or like am doing live things. Other than that, it's always up in a ponytail and not touching me.
I never have my hair down ever. It's up in a bun or it's braided or
both of your hair. Jenny's hair. Does it go to your knee?
Go to my calf. Yeah.
I just cut mine not that long ago, so it's not that long, but I generally have it like down to like my tailbone.
Yeah, I kind of like heavy on me, and I like it this. I can manage it. It still can go up, not so heavy where I feel like I'm getting headaches all the time.
Yeah, I don't know. I can never make up my mind. I'll like let it grow super long and then I'm like, there's too much hair, and then I chop it all off. And then I'm like, why did I do this? I hate it.
Yeah. And I always make sure that if I chop it, that I have a reverse box. Can at least put the half of it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't like when it's in my face, and during the summer here, it's way too hot to have hair down.
Mm-hmm.
I took a shower yesterday, and I don't know why I decided I needed to go for a walk when it was like 98 degrees out, but I was like, I'm gonna go for a walk. And I didn't put my hair up because it was still wet, and I was like, I'm miserable. It just was like stuck to me everywhere because not only was I sweating because it was 100 degrees out, but also it was wet, and it was just like, I hated life.
That's how JJ was walking the car. We were walking. It's it was like a mini golf go-kart kind of thing. But we had parked like so far away, and it was like 92. And he's like, why did you do this? Why can't we be to the car by now? By the time we get in the car is going to be hot.
Mm-hmm. Look, when you live where we live, there is no escaping the heat. Like in the summer, what can you do? It's just damn hot. Even if your car is inside in the garage, it's still damn hot when you go to get into it.
All right.
Such is life.
I'm going to go see what my Nana wants where we're going to go.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm going to end this live show, but thanks everyone for joining. And again, next month, Mayfly, 17th for sprints, 24th for discussion. And link to the Discord is down in the description, I think.
Link to everybody's channel is also down in the description.
Yes. Give everybody a follow.
All right.
Bye.